Hey everybody, hope you're well. I have some Jameis Winston injury update news after what happened to him during what turned out to be, quite fortunately, the Saints' victory over the Buccaneers in an epic division battle that, um, even with what happened, turned out to be a classic for the ages. And Jameis was on his way to a monster game. He already picked up 40 yards rushing to go with 6 of 10 for 56 yards passing. So right there, he was about, well, yeah, right about 100 yards of offense when what happened to him at the hands of Devin White caused him to not only be taken out of the game, but to be in this situation. He is scheduled for surgery in 3 weeks. Again, he's scheduled for surgery in 3 weeks. He has a Joe Burrow-type injury, and he is going to undergo a path very similar to the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback who was the heralded rookie out of LSU 2 years ago, #1 pick, but as you know, suffered that horrible knee injury. Well, there's a path for Jameis to follow, and the path was walked by Joe Burrow, and that's the best news of all. There is a path to recovery, and as you can see by Joe Burrow's success this year, a path to success as well. But what happened yesterday also brings up something that has to be asked. Was the horse collar tackle deliberate? What Devin White did, if you look at the video, is it looks like he went around Jameis and deliberately ran past him to grab him in the way that he did. There was no reason to miss him. He wasn't being blocked. He wasn't blocked in the Jameis. This was White pursuing him. And then Mr. Anton Whitfield makes fun of his Jameis with the eating the W. And then after Jameis was out of the game, the wins were taken out of the sails of the Buccaneers defense. There's some who are wondering, well, was that because they did their job and got him out of the game? I mean, it's a division rival. Your energy isn't supposed to go down. Or was it that they were so upset for their fallen ex-quarterback that maybe the energy was taken out of their sails because of that? Or perhaps a mixture of both. Whatever the case, it does deserve investigation, because there are a number of ways to bring a quarterback down. You could have just pushed him, could have pushed him out of bounds. It wasn't like, Jameis Winston is possessive of 4.40 speed, unlike Mr. White, right? Right? He could have done it that way, but he didn't. Was the mission of the Buccaneers defense really to get Jameis Winston out of the game? A number of people are asking that question. Again, was the mission of the Buccaneers defense to get Jameis Winston out of the game? In other words, to rid the Saints of the secret weapon that the Buccaneers once had, and the Saints were willing to use against them in the quest to win the division. Turns out that because of the brilliance of Sean Payton, that wasn't really necessary, was it? It was just sort of an added sauce to the goose to have Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback. But it does bring up a question that others are trying to find the answer to. Bruce Arians said he didn't know about the insulting gesture, but isn't he concerned about it? So there's your update. 3 weeks, Jameis Winston goes into the hospital for surgery. He has a Joe Burrow-type injury. To the letter. That's right, to the letter. And I don't know what the league's fine is going to be with respect to Mr. White, but I think the horse collar tackle should be outlawed. If you do it, you're out of the game. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. White was flagged 3 times for personal fouls in that game. And he got an ejection warning on top of that. It was a little out of hand. Actually, it was a lot out of hand. But the question is, who had a hand in creating that scenario? Someone did. This wasn't something, I refuse to believe this was something that Devin White did just all on his own. Maybe, okay, let's give the man the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just decided to do that the last minute on his own. But why? It doesn't remove the need to ask the question why. It was wrong. Now, there are those who mention Bountygate in the case of Sean Payton. Okay, so that raises another question. Was this done as some sort of revenge for Bountygate? It doesn't make it any better, folks, right? It does not make it any better at all. What was the reason for Devin White's selection of tackling? How come he couldn't just simply met him head on the normal way with his shoulder, right? The opportunity was certainly there. Him shoulder, hip pads, make contact, he gets tackled, he goes out of bounds. Or just, in order to avoid the, necessary roughing penalties or whatever, just kind of push him and then let Winston's momentum take him out of bounds. He was headed toward the sideline. Those opportunities were there, but instead, what White did was he went around Winston and then from back and then let his body gain momentum as he was running and pull him. So he let the full torsional force of his legs running full speed be exacted on Jameis Winston's body. And what you saw is what you see in the thumbnail that's used for this vlog, for this live stream. But that's what he did. You can take a look at it again and again and again. He ran around him and grabbed him like he was trying to play with him, like he wanted to deliberately ragdoll him. Sure, football is a game. Sure, football is a violent game. But we have rules. And we have rules that are designed to keep our star players where you can buy tickets and see them at their best. You would argue that we saw Devin White at his best making plays, but nowhere does it say we're supposed to enjoy dirty play. And I don't know that the NFL wants to be known as an organization that advances dirty play. Because if it were, it wouldn't be issuing fines for such actions like what Devin White did. He would not have received a 15-yard personal foul call. But I am saying that the horse collar tackle needs to be outlawed from the National Football League. It needs to go the way of the dodo. Because the ultimate result of why is what we saw yesterday. I mean, how much worse does it have to get? What else has to happen? We shouldn't ask that question. We know what the scenario could look like. We know that. So again, to reiterate for those of you just joining in, Jameis Winston has a Joe Burrow-type injury to the letter. He starts surgery in 3 weeks. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. Thank you.